we want to bring you some breaking news out of the states of California here. We want to show you this tweet from the office of the governor of Gavin Newsom. Now, he has proclaimed a state of emergency for Humboldt County. As you can see there from this tweet, that is to support the emergency response to today's 6.4 magnitude earthquake near the city of Ferndale. Now, as you might know already, 2 people have unfortunately died as a result of that earthquake, and thousands of people have also been left in the dark because of the damage. Now, we want to go ahead and bring you the latest updates from officials in California. Again, this happened in the northern coast of the state. Here's more from officials out there.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for showing up. We are here today to hold a press conference and give you an informational briefing on the 6.4 magnitude earthquake that struck early this morning. We have local officials here that will update you on specific areas, and these officials will also be available to answer individual questions from the media afterwards. You should have received 2 hours old, so there may be some updated information that we'll talk about here as well. One thing I do want to put out to you all before we get into the press conference is the local non-emergency phone number. That phone number is 707-506-5083. So if you have a local non-emergency call, please call that phone number. Today we have Sheriff Hansel behind me, Kyle Knopp, who's the city manager of Rio Dell.
Whoa.
Yeah. Aftershock.
You guys plan that one?
Uninvited guest. We have Shane Wilson, Rio Dell Fire Chief. Troy Clay is the Assistant Chief for California Office of Emergency Services. Sean Morris, he's the Commander of CHP Humboldt Office, California Highway Patrol. And we have Mayor Deborah Garnes. So with that, I'll hand it over to Sheriff Hansel.
Thank you, Sean. My name is William Hansel. I'm the Director of the Office of Emergency Services, I'm also the Sheriff here in the county. Obviously, this is something that has shaken a lot of us here on the North Coast. As we felt here, there's been over 50 aftershocks since the initial 6.4 earthquake at 2:37 in the morning. Our priority from the very beginning is life. And so we are concerned about our residents here in the county. And so the first thing we are doing is checking on our residents and making sure that they are okay, and providing the needs for them at this present time. Things after that we look for is obviously infrastructure. We're looking for housing. We look to make sure that everything is in place for them to be clothed and fed and taken care of. But at this point in time, we are coordinating the disaster response for the county. We're coordinating with local officials. We have fire, EMS, law enforcement, as well as state resources. We have CAL FIRE, we have CHP, we have California Office of Emergency Services here. All that to make sure that we are providing the best services to our people at this given time. So our initial assessment is that we've had, since the earthquake, we've had 12 people come forward and thought that they've been injured from this. We expect this number to go up. We know that people have delayed reporting injuries due to the not too serious nature of the injuries, but we know that people have been injured from this. We also had 2 deaths associated from this earthquake. It was a 72-year-old and an 83-year-old individual who did not see or did not get timely medical care because their medical emergency happened at the moment of the earthquake. And so EMS could not get there in time and couldn't deliver them to the proper medical facility. So our hearts and prayers go out to their families. It is very sad when we have loss of life, and so that's the one primary thing that we're looking for right now, is make sure our residents are taken care of. And so Office of Emergency Services has stood up. We're coordinating the emergency at this point in time, and we're working with the city of Rio Dell. The city of Rio Dell is the city that has been hit the hardest. That's why we're here. This is ground zero. We have several of the residents that have been red tagged. And so we're here to support the city of Rio Dell in their efforts to make sure that they are taken care of, to make sure that plenty of resources are here to assist them. And at this time, I'd like to have their city manager, Kyle Knott, come forward and explain what is actually happening here in the city of Rio Dell.
Thank you, Sheriff Hansel. My name is Kyle Knopp. I'm the city manager for Rio Dell. The last name is spelled K-N-O-P-P. Obviously, this was a very significant event for this community. We have two primary issues that we're dealing with right now. One is related to housing. We've had a very significant number of homes that have been red tagged by our city crews and by our partners at the County of Humboldt and City of Arcata. Have been down here checking out various properties. Currently, there's approximately 15 red tagged homes. We have about 50% of the community housing covered at this point in time. And that would be our battery backup system, which is now back online. So again, 15 homes have so far been red tagged, so we estimate approximately 30 displaced people. Most of those have been able to stay with friends or family. For those who are not able to do that, the city and the fire department are working together to find lodging for folks who are in a situation where they need housing. So in addition to the red tag homes, which means that they're not suitable for occupation, we also have at least 18 homes that are yellow tagged, so they have non-life-threatening conditions. So housing is one of the big issues here. Certainly this is a larger problem that we have, one of the largest problems we've ever seen, this number of homes red tagged. We also have a major problem with water at the moment. Currently in the city of Rio Dell, the water system is not active. So if you turn on your tap, no water will come out, your toilets won't flush, all of those problems. We're working diligently on this, but unfortunately at this point in time, I do not believe that we will have water restored to the city by this evening. So we're looking at potentially 24 to 48 hour situation with no running water. In order to combat that, we have a distribution point at the fire hall for bottled water. We also have portable B&B toilets you may have noticed in the parking lot and in various other locations in town for folks to use in the meantime. So the water system, unfortunately, just has a number of gaps and cracks in the system that are leaking water, and we need to maintain the tank reserves for firefighting purposes. So if there is a follow-up aftershock, if there's additional fires in town, we can still release water from the tanks to power and supply the fire hydrants in the community, so that shouldn't be a problem. I do want to thank our partners, Sheriff Hansel, who was just up here just a moment ago. Michelle Bushnell, County Supervisor, has been tremendous, along with John Ford, Alicia Hayes, and others. The City of Arcata have been tremendously helpful, but this is a disaster that really impacts the broader Humboldt County. So power is out in most regions in the county. There's been significant damage in other areas, but it has been acute here in Rio Dell. I do want to also just mention that at 4:30 p.m. in this room, City Council will be holding a special emergency session to make a disaster declaration, which is necessary work to forward this on to the upper levels of government, the state and federal level. So with that, I think I'm turning it over here to Shane Wilson, who's Rio Dell's volunteer fire department chief. Thank you.
Thank you, and welcome everybody. It's been a busy morning, so I apologize I didn't have time to put my uniform on just after 3 o'clock. We were well, not really dispatched, we basically woke up and just assembled at the fire station. Basically, we all started in our own neighborhoods of where we live in proximity, helping our neighbors, securing utilities, gas line, gas meters, water leaks and other things that were just in our immediate response closest to our homes. And then the fire department assembled at the station. Significant issues getting our apparatus out of the station to respond. Our doors were either off the hinges or unable to open. So that was a significant delay. However, we did manage to get some doors pried open and lifted so that we could remove at least 3 of our engines at the Reedale station and then 1 of our engines from Scotia. We deployed all of that apparatus to respond to calls that were coming in from the ECC in Fortuna, from CAL FIRE, as well as just walk-in or phone call or just flag down reports. Estimation is around 40 to 50 calls in the first half hour. And we did the best we could with what we had. CAL FIRE was gracious enough to send us down 2 apparatus that assisted us tremendously, as well as some utilities, pickups with firefighters in them, and they helped out with triage and going around assisting the residents of Reedale.
All right, an update from officials there in Northern California. We just want to show you some video of that damage there. Again, officials say 2 people have died, multiple people have injuries, and thousands of people are without power. Again, just tonight, Governor Newsom of California has declared a state of emergency to support response to Humboldt County after this devastating 6.4 magnitude earthquake. And this means the governor's office is working with local utilities to rapidly restore power. Now, the emergency proclamation enables Humboldt County to access resources under the California Disaster Assistance Act, and it also directs authorities to formally request immediate assistance through the Federal Highway Administration's Emergency Relief Program and supports impacted residents by easing access to unemployment benefits and waiving fees to replace records such as marriage and birth certificates, among other provisions. So basically, this state of emergency declaration will make it easier for people who live in the devastated communities. It will make it easier for them to get resources and help.